Yo, what's good YouTube, man? It's your boy DK here, back with another banger. And in today's video, man, is a very special day. In today's video, we're going to be going over the Dynasty Deep Dive for College Football 25. And there's a lot of information to go over. I read through all 85 pages, and today I'm just going to highlight to you guys the best points. So just sit back and relax, and let's hop into the video. So to start with the video, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to go straight to the recruiting stage, and there's a lot to go over here. So every school is graded from D to A+ across 14 different categories, and these grades define who a program is and what their strengths and weaknesses are. The 14 grades are as followed: playing time, playing style, championship contender, program traditions, campus life, stadium atmosphere, pro potential, brand exposure, academic prestige, conference prestige, coach stability, athletic facilities, and proximity to home. Each grade has a unique set of grading criteria. So for an example, playing time is graded on a per player basis. The players overall, for projected overall if they are a recruit, so this is the incoming high school players, is compared to a team's roster to project how many years it would take them to become a starter. Most grades update dynamically throughout the season, while some may only upgrade at the end of each season. You can see all of your grades and detailed information about them in the My School screen. I'm gonna put this up on screen so you guys can have a look. And as you guys can see, we have Stanford right here, and we're gonna look at the academic prestige. And as you guys may know, Stanford is an Ivy League school, one of the best schools that you can possibly go to in the country of the United States. So obviously their academic prestige is A+, but if we go over to the championship contender, they're not the best team. They're a solid team. They're 75 ranked as of right now. But obviously they're not going to win a championship this season. But each week the game will surface this information to you in a weekly summary, allowing you to quickly see the health of your program and any changes. So each season in College Football 25, there is over 3,500 recruits that are generated from across the country. Just like in the real world, every class is different. Some years have a plethora of great quarterback talent, while others have very few great prospects. There's also this really cool and unique feature that I read about in the article, that certain regions will be more consistent in the caliber and quality in the type of recruit that they produce. So for an example, Southern California is known for producing great quarterback talent, while East Texas is consistently producing some of the best wide receivers in the country. But they went even deeper, and East Texas is known for producing great wide receivers, but specifically for their physical build and how big they are. As a result, you're going to see bigger and more physical receivers coming out of East Texas, whereas South Florida, you're going to see a lot of fast, deep threat wide receivers, but who have smaller size. And one thing to keep in mind is that 5-star prospects are going to care about getting to the next level, winning championships and growing NIL deals more than a casual 2-star would. A 2-star would be more considerate of staying close to home, coaching stability, and academics. So this is something that you're gonna have to prioritize as a coach to make sure you guys uphold these deals and bargains, to make sure you guys hit on these key factors if you guys want the best team possible. In College Football 25, there are 3 motivating factors that they care about. These 3 motivations form what we call the ideal pitch. During the discovery stage, your job as a recruiter is to find their ideal pitch as fast as possible to determine whether or not they align with your program. There's a chance that one of their 3 ideal pitch motivations is a deal breaker. And what a deal breaker is that it represents a motivation that the recruit is extremely passionate about, and they will not budge on it at all. Like, they're not going. And one thing to keep in mind is that these deal breakers last forever. So even when you sign them on the team, you have to keep up your end of the bargain. And if you fail to uphold your end of the bargain, then there's a chance that they'll decide to hop into the transfer portal later that season. So in College Football 25, every recruit will start with a list of schools that they are interested in. And there's a lot of key factors that play into how this is determined. But once recruiting starts, recruits will narrow their choices down over time from open to top 8 to top 5 to top 3, and then ultimately committed. And your job as a recruit is to stay above the cut line each week. Great recruiters will recognize losing battles and pivot their resources to a different prospect. So now I'm going to go really in depth with the recruiting process and just help you guys try to understand, so that when the game comes out, you'll be best informed and already be ahead of the ball game. So hopefully you guys can learn a lot from this. So the first stage is risk discovery, and this is where you learn as much information about your prospect as quick as possible. The faster you learn information about your prospect, the sooner you can decide whether or not to pursue them. And in this game, you will have a prospect list And luckily in college football, you don't have to sift through all 3,500 players. They will sift through and get the best players to fit your team. And obviously you can search by position, player archetype, what state they're in, minimum star rating, all of that stuff in this menu as well. So next, after you do a lot of research, you're gonna want to set up your board. And to set up your board, it is really important to understand your current roster strength and weaknesses, because how many players you need at a position will vary by your scheme. And your scheme, if you guys don't know, is tied to your playbook. So for an example, if you're with like the veer and shoot, you would need 10 wide receivers because you're going to be throwing the ball a lot. As with the pro style offense, you'll only need 6 wide receivers. If you guys don't know what I'm saying, just know that you just want to build your team based on your playing style. That's all I'm really trying to say here. So the currency to this recruiting process is called recruiting hours. And this is the amount of time that you're allocated to finding these good players to join your team. And in this game, the higher the team prestige is, the more recruiting hours they are allocated each week. This is just to model the resources like a real big program has. So for an example, in the preseason, a 5-star program will have 1,000 recruiting hours compared to only a 1-star program that only has 350 hours. But each week there is a max time you can spend recruiting somebody to your team. So for each player, the max amount of hours you can spend on them each week is 50 hours. Unless your coach has an ability which can maximize it to 70 hours. With this ability calls, always be recruiting for that position. Like I was saying with your recruiting board, the max amount of people you can have on your recruiting board is 35. If you guys are enjoying the College Football 25 content and want to keep up to date with College 25 news, don't forget to hit that like button, hit that subscribe button on the way to 3K subs. If we can get this video to 100 likes, I'm going to drop a Discord where I'm going to create a subscribers dynasty and I'll get to play with you guys and we can do a 32 team dynasty. Go check out the link in the description down below to join. And if we get this video to 100 likes as well, I'm going to drop a part 2 to this video going more over the coaching roles and going over stuff that was not in the deep dive trailer. So just keep a lookout for that. So now I'm going to teach you guys the scouting process. And if you guys have ever played Madden franchise, you guys kind of have an idea of how the scouting process works. As you guys can see on the screen right now, you can't see any of his attributes, any of his abilities, any of his mentals. That's because you have to scout them and it costs time to be able to scout them. And each attribute has 4 ratings of scouting. So unscouted, partially scouted, mostly scouted, and fully scouted. I'm going to explain all of these to all my newcomers. So obviously unscouted represents question marks, which is what I'm showing on screen. Partially scouted is when you're going to see a horizontal bar appear. The left side of the bar is 0 and the right side is 99. Within this bar, there is a golden zone that covers 25% of the bar space. The player's true rating is somewhere in that range, but you don't know where it's at. Mostly scouted is when you have a much clearer picture of the prospect. At this point, the golden zone only covers 10% of the bar. So now your margin of error is much lower than it was before. And the fully scouted is when you can see all of the prospects' ratings all across the board. And each time you scout a prospect, you will reveal a limited amount of information about them. Sometimes scouting a player will fully scout an attribute, while other attributes may only be partially scouted. Additionally, each scouting action will also reveal a physical and mental ability. But one thing about college football that you guys should know is that in this game, they have development traits. And you guys, like I said, if you guys played Madden, they have the normal development trait, star development trait, and superstar development trait. Just like in this game, they have a similar system. I'm about to get into that. But when you scout a player, you cannot see their development trait until they're fully on your team. So that's one thing to note. And what I really like about this model is that it allows for uncertainty and mystery about how good your player is going to be. It kind of mirrors the gym/bust system. So when scouting a player, there's a chance that you identify their true skill is better or worse than their star rating indicated. So for an example, a 4-star bust is really a 3-star quality prospect, while a 4-star gym has a skill level of a 5-star player. So this is if a 4-star player has the superstar development trait, so he's really a 5-star. So next I'm going to go into the 5 ways on how to recruit your player. And how you guys can recruit your player is by offering scholarships, searching social media, DMing players, contact friends and family, and send the house. So I'm going to briefly go over this. Offering a scholarship is obviously you give them money to go to your school, and with this in turn you get a small weekly influence each week to help them decide on if they want to pick your school or not. Searching social media, just scrolling through their social media, liking their posts, but be careful not to like an image from like 3 years ago. That's just mad weird, bro. Like don't be on that weirdo timing, that Diddy timing. You can also DM the player. You can hit them with the "you up" text, you know what I'm saying? You can message them directly and start a conversation to build that relationship. You can also contact a family member, so you can call auntie or grandma and be like, hey, I heard your nephew or your grandson is a really good player. Tell them that I called you. Like, that'll really hit a player home, because just to hear that you contacted their family. Like, I know if a football team contacted my dad or my grandma and said they were looking for me, like I would honestly feel pretty special. And this gains a lot of influence with prospects in the game as well. And also, you can send the house, which that means you send every coordinator to go at this dude, to try everything in your power to get this guy. So then as you uncover motivators, you will see these red X's in the screen. So as you guys can see, my boy Quincy right here, he has red X's by the academic prestige, athletic facilities, coaching stability, and proximity to home. So what these red X's mean is that bro does not care one bit. So you can have a D tier athletic facility or academic prestige, he does not care, he's just trying to play football. But with so much depth in recruiting, I know a lot of people are gonna be like, bro, this is gonna be one of the hardest college football games with literally just this one feature. Like, how am I gonna do this every week? Luckily, you can use the set and forget function, which means each week it will automatically do this for you. If you guys don't want to take a significant time out of your week to be doing this, you should be focusing on your players, getting your players right to win games, not recruit the next prospects. So I know a lot of people were wondering about position changes. I'm going to go briefly into that. So following signing day, you will be able to change the player's position ahead of the offseason progression. And this is because in college football 25, the offseason is the most impactful time period for the player's development. While players can improve throughout the season, the bulking of their progression happens during the offseason, like the spring and summer. And obviously, those players who put the work in the offseason come back bigger, stronger, faster, and overall a significantly better player. So in this game, players will automatically progress their attributes and physical abilities. Mental abilities cannot be upgraded, allowing for a greater differentiation between players. If you guys don't know what physical and mental abilities are, like your physical abilities is kind of like your jukebox and all that stuff in Madden. And then your mental abilities is like headstrong, where you're like immune to like crowd pressure and stuff like that. So in college football 25, there are 4 different player development traits. So in this game, they're kind of different in Madden. They got the normal development, impact, star player, and elite player. The normal player is the most common, and he just progresses at a standard rate. They just grow steadily over their career. The impact player can really change the team, and they progress faster than normal with better upsides as well. The star player is a potential Sunday player, so this is your NFL prospects. And there's very few of these in the game, so if you have one of these on your team, that would be really insane. And then lastly is the elite player. This is the best of the best and have the potential to be an all-time great. So next I'm going to be talking about these impact players, and these impact players are back in college football 25, and these are the dudes with the star. I'm going to put a picture on screen, and there's no limit to the number of star players that you can have or impact players. Each team will have one impact player on offense and on defense, so you don't got to worry about if you're on a small school, you won't have any of these people. And of course in Dynasty, you're going to have to manage wear and tear. I'm not going to go too in depth, but you definitely want to monitor the system, because this is going to be a pivotal moment in your gameplay. As you guys can see, we got Donovan Edwards, and he has a couple high injuries that will affect his gameplay. And definitely be smart enough to take him out if he needs to sit down and rest. Like, you don't want him to not show up in those big moments. So definitely keep an eye on this. So one of the most exciting parts about the college football game is that they have the new 12-team format for the championship. And what this means that they have a 5+7 model, so meaning that the 5 highest teams ranked in the conference championship will automatically berth into the playoffs, and then the people that rank underneath will be placed in their spots based on the order of the college football rankings. And a cool feature as well is that you can create custom conferences. So on the screen right now, we got the Big Ten conference right now, but then below we can change it up a little bit, and we can reset this conference to up to 20 teams. And we can just put any team that you want. So if you wanted to create Michigan State with Alabama, with Stanford, you can go on ahead, be my guest. And the minimum amount you can have in a conference is 4 teams. So this is definitely a really exciting feature. Another cool thing about this is that you can customize the schedule. The conference games are set and locked, but the non-conference game, you can choose whatever game that you please to play. Another cool feature is that you can add up to 16 custom teams, so you don't have to go on any of the 134 teams automatically in there. You can create your own college, and you can create up to 16 of these. You'll have to delete one of the college football teams, but just delete a D1 like 1-star team for your new and improved logo team, which will be a pretty cool and unique feature. But I really appreciate you guys watching the video all the way through. Don't forget to hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. I'll catch you guys in the next one. I'm out. Peace. Boom!